What up, my dudes? This is the track review of Clearwater on MX vs. ATV Untamed. So this is one of my favorite tracks of any motocross game out there, bar none. Just the design of this thing, man. Oh my gosh. In the jumps and every single little thing about it. I just love this track right here. I just got to thinking, dude, this is kind of funny, but you're a motocross gamer when you have two separate controllers. You have one controller for arcade motocross games and you have one controller for your simulator motocross games so that you don't damage your simulator controllers by playing too many of these arcade games. Oh my gosh, man. Yes, I have a problem, but that's okay. Oh, I love these games, dude. I don't know. I'm like to the core motocross gaming fan. It's a motocross fan. I mean, I say gaming, it's motocross period. I've just kind of been out of the riding in real life for a little while now. I know a lot of you guys have been wanting me to get back into that forever because I've never really done helmet cams consistently. It's always been a very one here and then one there 3 years later kind of thing. So we're going to try to fix that. I know it's going to be colder than a witch's titty outside because it's winter time, but I don't give a fuck. I'm going to start doing that really soon, getting back into riding. A lot of that was it went through a really weird period of time where there wasn't really any tracks around me that were riding. All the older tracks I used to race on and stuff got closed down. So that was something that kind of happened there. And one of the tracks I went to all the time, the Highway 89 track, that was one of my helmet cam videos that I still have on my channel. The owner of that track actually passed away. So that was a really crazy thing. And so then I started riding at this other track and trying to get in there where I can start riding on that during the week and stuff like that, not just being weekend warrior on the shit. So we'll be getting it back going pretty soon. You just got to be patient with me here. But okay, so track review, as you can see, I mean the jump sections on this thing, it's just, and not only that, but the vibe of it and the biome design and the sunset and the distance and the every little thing, man. I just love it. I love the trees that kind of jumping around all these trees and the elevation design of it and every little part of it. I think the elevation is what really sort of sets it apart than a lot of other tracks out there. You know, it's you're constantly going up a hill, then down a hill, then around a hill, then, Jack and Jill. So that's kind of what starts to happen here. Let's see. Yes, that's cool. So you can triple that. You can huck that, triple that. Okay, that's badass. So I kind of forgot some of these bigger monster lines on this track, but I'll get them figured out here pretty quick. I've actually rode a fairly decent amount of laps on this track back in the day. Let's see. Okay, you probably can triple that down to that little ledge. That's one thing about this track. It just feels like you're constantly hitting a rhythm section of some sort, even though you're on a motocross track, which, if you guys don't know, that's really hard to capture that on an actual motocross track. Okay, so I think you can actually triple that. See, this track's crazy because it's you're able to triple stuff and hit crazy jumps at an angle. And it's able, a lot of these jumps feel really, really angled. And that's what makes them so much fun because you can I guess you could call it sort of cheating in certain occasions, but whatever. It's just a video game. We're just having fun here. So you can really play with your angles of corners and hitting certain rhythms that you just wouldn't think were possible at all. That's a fun thing you can do on this track. Well, let me just do that exact thing 2 laps in a row. Okay, but you can see going all the way down the hill, all the way back up the hill. Really fun jumps. Super big. Okay, we're just going to hook that as hard as we possibly can. Woo! I'm going to try to land down in that. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's hitting that really, really hard. I lost a bunch of momentum, though, because I jumped that first jump so far down the hill. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to land that, but yeah, it came around fairly well there. I don't know how good these insides are going to be, but I mean, look at this. You can jump all the way into those rollers. It's just like stuff like that you just don't see on motocross tracks very often. Motocross is a very, usually, I need to say, usually is a very standard sort of thing as far as the jumps goes. I mean, usually when it comes to motocross, you're not really hitting jump rhythms. It's all about the corners and the ruts and the roughness. But when you combine it and make it almost like supercross rhythms, but like in a motocross hybrid-y sort of setting, that's when these kind of tracks get really fun to me. Because not only is it just about the corners anymore, it's like, whoa, this track is sick. It's like motocross, but it's got jumps and shit, and like somewhat rhythms and stuff like that. So I am still trying to remember a little bit of how the cornering works in this game. So here's one jump I thought we might be able to hit. That's going to be a huck to get it all the way over. Try to hit some of these insides. Woo! Little spin out. Yeah, it's a pretty tricky thing coming back to these games and like only steering with one stick instead of two. That is very confusing. And then trying to go back to one of the games that uses two sticks, and then you're like, what the hell am I doing? So that's something you'll notice if you kind of go back and forth between some of these games. But it's still fun. I mean, there's still a skill gap to this game, even though it's just, one stick kind of style. Motherfucker. Let me just do that again. Oh my gosh. I'm hitting it like so hard that I'm actually leaving the ground before the actual berm of the corner, and it's popping me up just enough. Okay, let's see what we can do right here on this. Let me try to come around. Okay, oh, didn't exactly get the seat hop perfectly. So, yeah, the seat hopping in these games was like a really big deal back in the day. Popping like perfect seat hops. That used to be a really big aspect to like, I remember that in four-wheeler games. I remember that in, these motocross games. Like all the vehicular games back in these days had a seat hop button. That was like a really big trend. And then once Reflex came out, it was like, oh shit. I mean, the whole world seemed to change once Reflex came out. Reflex was the MX versus ATV after this one, which is crazy. I mean, just picture that in your mind. Like the difference between this and Reflex, and then you think about the difference between Reflex and Alive. Like, you see why we get all pissed off at some of these newer arcade games? It's because it's like they almost just halted on their entire, like, innovation and new stuff and better looking stuff. I mean, it just, like, seriously, it was a disappointment to say the least. You think about just how different like Reflex is from this, and that was just one game difference. And then you look at Alive difference from Reflex, and it's like they almost just went backwards with it. It's like I feel like Alive is almost more like this than Reflex is. Like when you look at it in a long-term, like actual innovation sort of standpoint, like Alive just went backwards, and then Supercross went backwards, and then Encore is all the way back. So that's kind of how all that went. But yeah, man, overall decent track for sure. I say decent, I mean fucking amazing. That's my Spencer Turley get just in autopilot mode on these videos sometimes when I'm doing like reviews and stuff. Like you get yourself in an autopilot, like you just start saying stuff that you can kind of just flow with. It's like, yeah, track's decent. Yeah, man. Yeah, you talking about the track, man. Yeah, so much fun, man. I love these jumps, man. Elevation's cool, dude. Yeah, bro. You get kind of like that with it. But, hey, man, whatever. I love to come in here and say what I want to say about some of these tracks and have fun riding on them. And a lot of this is going to be more just like reminiscing and having fun and just screwing around with it, not so much like giving a super accurate review of the exact time zone of blah, blah, blah. It's not so much about that. It's just, these are old games, so they're going to be different track reviews in a sense. It's not like reviewing a new Reflex track or something like that, so you just got to always remember that. But like, just look how some of the track like cuts down in the side of this little mountain, and it's kind of like on a quarry, I do believe. They did have a quarry track in, I think it was actually DLC for Alive, which I actually somewhat enjoyed that track on Alive. So yeah, you see the sunset. Oh man, just a lot of fun. Timeless track right here, bro. And it's cool to go back and look at like after you've made custom tracks on MX Simulator, and then going back and looking at like how they would have made these sort of tracks, and like looking at the grass and looking at the trees. You really look at those little things that you wouldn't normally look at if you weren't a track maker. You know, like you would just never notice some of that stuff. But it's kind of cool how they, I mean, you could take a lot of inspiration from some of these tracks for MX Simulator tracks. Could you imagine a fucking replica of this in MX Simulator? That would be awesome, dude. Like, if somebody doesn't do that, I'm going to do that within the next year. Mark my words, dude. I'm doing a replica of this shit in the next year. So please, somebody do that so I don't have to make a replica of this. Replicas are a motherfucker. You got... See, I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to, like, replicas or, like... Or any... I have a very perfectionist mind just in general. And, I really have to calm myself down sometimes because I try to make something so perfect that it ends up not even being good at all, you know? Like, I go overboard with it a lot of times, so that shit happens for sure. But, yeah, I'm going to give this track a... It's not like a bunch of ruts or anything. It does have a couple of berm-style corners. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's still a lot of fun. I could see how... I mean, it is, you know, arcade style. You're just kind of holding the gas wide open everywhere. That corner right there, you might have to let off a little bit. I was thinking I was going to be able to hook that triple, and then you could probably triple that up on top of the... See, that's what it does. Like, when you're able to hit bigger rhythms, then it's almost as if you're able to hit an even bigger jump past that than you expected. So it's really cool. Some of the jumps do feel like you can not hit the seat bounce button, and like probably save a little bit of time because you're getting on the ground quicker, and you don't, like some of the jumps you don't have to fully extend to clear them all the way, it seems like. So that's kind of cool. Seems as if you'd still be able to get around the track on one of the smaller bikes. Like, I didn't seat hop that at all. I'm thinking you could jump that all the way, like triple that down to there. I mean, it's just like, that's the thing about this track. Your mind is just like constantly thinking like, oh, I think I can jump that to there. Oh no, I can jump further, bro. Oh no. You can actually hit that even bigger than what you're thinking. You know, it's like every time you do a lap on this track, it feels like you're hitting something bigger. That's a fun thing about it. So I'm going to give this thing a 10 overall. I mean, I honestly don't know how I couldn't at least give it a 10 overall. It's just a ton of fun. And I'm going to say the difficulty is... you're probably looking at medium for this game. I mean, yeah, there is rhythms, but I don't know how... I don't know. I mean... I would almost... yeah, there's definitely... You know, there's a couple sections on this track where you almost have this, like... Whoa, dodge the pole. Where you almost have, like, whoops, rollers. You can see these rollers going up through here. So that almost acts as roughness, in a sense, in certain areas of the track, and in certain places where you do have to seat hop it to get it, like all the way up over a triple. Might be a little tricky. Has a bit of a supercross element to it. So, I mean, you could say the difficulty is hard on it, but, I mean, what's hard in an arcade motocross game, really? You know, when I say hard, I just mean... like, basically not that hard, but whatever, you can kind of consider it hard. So either way, I appreciate you guys watching all the videos. I'm going to keep doing some of these arcade motocross games, and I have all of my playlists for all the my MX. I have just an MX versus ATV playlist. Got all the videos from that in there on my front page. Got, like, you know, MX GP3 playlist, all the different playlists of the games on there. So either way, man, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.